We're recording.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Many times in the scriptures we read, the word of the Lord came to. When he spoke, he gave wisdom, understanding, insight, direction, and peace. This allowed the person to accomplish whatever task with whatever skill and excellence that came from the Lord to do it right. Lord, we ask that you would help us to accomplish the work before us, guide our thoughts, guide our decisions, give us peace in our hearts and our minds that we are doing the right thing in your eyes. We thank you for directing us. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Hey, I already did roll call. And council, we do have 3 new business items. Because these are contracts requiring legal, any type of legal discussion or anything from the council, I will, if someone wants to make a motion to go into executive session, we can do that to discuss items A, B, and C and then come out and act on them.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session with town manager, town clerk, mayor, and council for no longer than 60 minutes.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Statico, and we'll have to call the attorney.
I have a question.
Yes.
At what point do I need to recuse?
Any discussion or action on this item you have to recuse yourself from? So anyone having a conflict of interest with Resolution Copper could declare that conflict of interest right now and recuse themselves and step down from the podium.
What, just question, what is she, yeah, right. That's fine.
I'm pretty loud, so. Did you understand that
Yes.
anyone, and I do believe that Councilman Lopez and Councilman Alberto both have conflicts, so.
Yes, yes, Mayor, I have a conflict of
Okay, well,
interest.
hold on a second, because
Okay.
I think we have,
I also have a conflict. My wife works for a contractor out there.
Okay, so
that
we,
means that we don't have a quorum, so that means everybody, when they declare their conflict, they can still vote. That's what we had to do in the past.
All right, I would like to request a short recess while I call the attorney on the speakerphone. So
Just want to make sure we do not repeat,
Yeah, that's-
yes, like our council.
Recess?
No, because we just still have a motion on the floor. So I'm recessing the meeting, there's a motion with no second. And we're recessing at that time. It was different. I but she's actually.
If we don't have enough for a quorum, we're allowed to vote.
Yeah, then they declare their conflict zone.
yes, we should be able to still vote, but we do need to put that, read that into the record.
Gilbert's not here, then.
Hello. We are in open session right now. We do need legal advice. We have 3 councilmen. We have 6 present at the podium, and 3 of them have stated conflict of interest with resolution, and we need to have direction on how we should proceed.
And just so that I can repeat that, 3 of the council members have stated that there is a conflict.
They have not yet stated their conflicts, but they've stated they do have conflict.
Are there 7 council members present this evening?
No.
There are 6.
There are 6.
Though I'm told Mr. Aguilar will be arriving at some point.
Perhaps we should address those conflicts of those council members, that they may or may not be council conflicts on this agreement. Could you tell me the name of the council member? I know that one council member has a child that works for Resolution Copper.
That's Councilman Lopez, and Councilman Navarrete has a child who works for Cementation, a subcontractor of Resolution. And, Michael, I'm sorry.
Works for janitorial services, it's a subcontractor for Resolution.
Did you hear that? Probably need your mic or a public meeting.
My wife works as a janitorial for a subcontractor for Resolution.
Is that the vice mayor?
Yes.
Okay. Perhaps I should address all of these in general. Arizona has a conflict of interest statute which involves having a pecuniary interest in an agreement that is before the council. There are 3 matters before you this evening, and of those, 2 of the matters, the multi-generational agreement and the agreement for the economic consultants requires that there is a match that is to be provided by the town of Superior. The other agreement, I believe, is for the playground equipment. I do not believe that there would be a conflict of interest on those matters because there is no financial remuneration coming from the town of Superior. So I do not believe that any council member would have a conflict of interest as to that matter, which is the first one on your agenda. As to the other issues involving the multi-generational facility and the economic incentive agreement to redevelop where there is a match from the council, the conflict of interest statutes provide that you cannot have a direct conflict of interest. They do allow what is called a remote conflict of interest. A remote conflict of interest is an interest where basically the benefit is remote and it's not direct to the individual. It would appear that council members that have family members that are employed by subcontractors for resolution that involve Resolution Copper may not have a direct conflict of interest because they work for an independent contractor who has a contract with Resolution Copper. The council member that has, I believe Council Member Lopez, who has a direct child that works for Resolution Copper, that would be closer to a direct conflict of interest. However, I would point out that these are basically donations for the town that are unrelated to the organization and operation of Resolution Copper. It does not affect their job, nor does it affect their compensation as an employee. So, Mayor, council members, I believe also that given those facts, that perhaps the only council member that may have a conflict of interest, and it is getting it close to the line, would be Council Member Lopez. I do not believe the other 2 council members would have a direct conflict of interest. Lastly, Mayor and Council, when you seek advice from an attorney that represents the town on a conflict of interest, if the attorney is wrong, you have a safe harbor under the conflict of interest rules. In other words, you have declared that you might have a conflict of interest, you sought legal advice as to that conflict of interest, and you were assured by the attorney that you did not have a conflict of interest. Therefore, you would be protected from the conflict of interest laws in the state of Arizona.
Mr. Montes, did you get everything? I know you have it on tape twice, but just checking this. Okay, council, does everyone feel comfortable that they've received their legal advice? And so now it appears the only one who probably cannot vote. Well, you should still stay. Yes, you can sit around. This is a big day for us. Thank you. So at this time, there is a motion on the floor by Councilmember Statico for the council, town manager, town clerk, and town attorney via phone to go into executive for no more than 1 hour. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second on the floor by Councilmember Armitage. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And what time is it? 6:40. We're adjourning at 6:40 and we will be out shortly.
Please bring the drafts of your contract so I can advise you of the small changes that are in there.
Yeah, do some jokes. She's down.
Okay.
Your choice. And it does have some permissions.
No, so
So there are your, there's 2 copies here. No changes. So the only change, well, the only change was added. The first installment. That's just visual. Investment comes through in the indicator. Both of them signed. So you'll get it, you'll have an original, we'll have mine. So you got an hour to do nothing.
Yes.
Where are you guys going?
Oh, okay.
Right up.
Okay, so where are you from? Or
That'd be nice, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that'll last, right. That would be a great idea. Then what are you gonna do, the tops are gonna be concrete, or just solid concrete? Good. Nice. Oh, you'll be.
We've come back here.
Chris, get the electrical over there yet, or?
what's your?
Well, we got a bigger party this weekend, we'll have all the, so dropped in and everything. Actually, we're really further ahead on that, because every individual out there.
It's Lisa.
That's true, I know. Emily tested us for a couple hours, because they kept
Yeah,
tired and never,
but
yeah.
the problem is that the houses have been there so long.
We've just,
So we have to replace it. And that's gonna, well, we have to drop it, we're all up here and counter height, below the
This
counter.
one have to build some stuff. You're an executive.
No, wait, what?
I can't go because I have a conflict of interest.
I have to record
The
long
water's
enough.
on that side, it's,
right here.
I'm just-
counter's here.
I guess that I'm
No, it'd be, it would be all the way back here.
No, because this side of the counter's gonna be short, and the counter.
Work, yeah.
So the water's gonna be on that side, and the electric's on this. It's gonna be, I got it, it's still
Kids all
an
going up
ongoing
there.
process. of
Yeah, no, I have-
How to build some forms to use the concrete. And that's, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I didn't have to finish it. Finishing and taking all the forms off.
Are you close?
Right now, it's, I'm opting for the paint because it's quicker, it's problematic, it's slower. It's a state license, so it's nicer.
The problem is you can't do it. All the water resistant. Yeah.
So there's some powers and stuff. I still have to do this special concrete places.
Yeah, my son is, and it's good stuff, but it won't work on it.
So, well, there's some.
Well, that is what I have.
Yeah, I could research that.
There's more to introduce
Oh,
myself.
nice meeting you.
The one thing that has to stay.
Yeah.
That's the nice part.
I'm trying to
Miss Pat?
in the middle of trying to get some wheat as close as I can to.
How you doing?
Yeah, the
How are
color
you?
of the powder.
Good.
Go right into the
But those are, like I said, there's still a lot of maintenance work and stuff there. I'm trying to hurry up, and that's the problem I'm having. The electrician saying, oh, I got 4 months to do this, I'm trying to do it in 3, and that's not enough time, so. But we're
It's looking good.
looking pretty optimistic, at least we're getting the hot water. That's a major factor.
bigger.
Last Saturday, I went to church and we had a
That's
on Saturday, he
far
had
and
gone
travel.
to he had gone to a wedding. And the wedding was until 2 o'clock, so he was not gonna make it back for mass, so we had the father, the father that came in, he came from, Sacramento, I think it was. And he had come in and did our funeral in the morning, and he stayed over to do mass.
Yeah, especially if there's lighting.
This one, the Sacramento.
Back down there.
And you know the speech and a lot of people ask me, I don't know, I haven't talked to him, I don't know, but they were asking me, I go, I have no clue. And I said, well, maybe it's just after the seminary. It was very deliberate about everything, and I mean, you just could tell that he wasn't in the priesthood.
And the lighting.
The other ones,
Yeah.
just, you know, they know what's going on. Yeah, one time he's going like this, like he was lost, he didn't know what. But he seemed very,
Yeah, and like I said.
very sincere and humble. I got that from the way he acted and everything. And when he gave the communion, it was very deliberate, said the words might look great, I know, said the words, and I'd like to see it.
That person, I
Sincere and humble, you know. Like he hasn't been there for 50 years and tried to, you know, how they act.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wondered, oh, I know what I was gonna ask. How is,
Still working on trying to find somebody.
Bernice?
You know what, I haven't seen her lately. I know she's been having some issues.
I know that she's been on the surface, yeah.
Yeah, I think her, after some diabetes, you know, and then she had that computer.
Yeah, transplant, yeah.
You know, so, yeah, I don't know if she's here or not. You see her at church this Sunday.
Yeah, I'm
Why?
getting a license.
I think she might be tested out with her family, you know.
Southwest
Maybe, I don't know, but I was working well, you know, 'cause I know she had all that problems before, and before they I thought she was getting missed.
And she had a really good spell.
Well, I'm building that
She's
myself.
bored, but on the holidays, she's kind of like, you know,
I'm
going
working
on
on
with this.
it.
I haven't seen her, so.
Maybe I can ask, maybe Saturday night there'll be somebody there.
I know, yeah. Could be.
Can't give it all.
Okay, so.
Okay, well, they're in executive right now, so they're gonna be gone, maybe a little over an hour and a half, maybe not.
That's what they were saying.
Executive, yeah.
So we're not gonna have a meeting?
Well, when they get back, they'll cover those issues, you know, on the outline there, but yeah, they really are executive.
So it must be important.
It must be, I had to abstain because I have a conflict of
But it's
interest.
not gonna be.
My son works for resolution and a lot of this is, it has to do with resolutions.
Yeah.
I just sit
It's
here.
gonna be all different.
So you just,
Get rid of all the.
I don't know, it started at 6:30.
Yeah, today starts at 6:30. Normally our regular meetings are at 7, but today we start at 6:30.
That's why I was coming to us.
And I started at 6:30,
Well, maybe that's why I was more in here or there.
What I would like to do is find.
There wasn't too many, I think just, well, half there, it's Susan, but it wasn't a whole lot other than it's right there. And that's-
That's all it came. They don't care all that money is
I guess.
Well, I do.
I saw this.
We'll talk to you later.
Alrighty.
Oh, these chairs are nice and soft.
They're comfortable.
Do you know who she is?
She did really nice talking. And then she
No, I know. That's what he did. That's the initial.
Well, the problem is with that for kids.
Thursday, we usually asked.
Well,
It's a short start.
where do those kids go?
I'm gonna have to advocate so that they'll collapse and won't happen.
Against the walls. Perfect.
I've looked at some different games.
That'd be perfect.
Got all the wood slats, and that's what I'm painted on all of that. Got wood slats in the bed. Yeah, and all the top is we get painted, yes, so I can't see them.
No, not that one.
So none of those other 6 for that meeting have been approved. Well, 4 ways the meetings have been approved.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, how should we, well, I don't have to say this.
Nobody wants to do this. And we're committed to receiving the year. Nice. I mean,
It's not funny, I went through it, and it's awesome. And EDC,
Ready.
makes it, it's not like the job is not gonna get it done like that, what was the first? Yes, I know, I know.
Yeah.
but we're gonna try to get it.
Because I wear it for you, quite aware of it.
Or one items like that. Cert is not the problem. Yeah, that's a hard one.
So,
Yeah, I don't know, that's what I got here on the first one. Yeah.
I'm not concerned with planning. Find something like that.
And then it's benefited for everyone.
It's hardy and everything, because it's small, really big flowers and they need so much water and maintenance and everything else. And kids could almost walk on it and still survive. Then you come back and they. That's why I'm personally like that. And they got some other shrubs that are.
So also when they come back, are they going to discuss anything?
Yeah, they'll go to the agenda.
It should.
I gotta think.
It should.
Thank you so much for that, thank you. That meant a lot to me.
It's not where it's gonna be. Yeah, it took a while. It said, keep it right here. I keep it like this. I like it.
That's
Thank you so much. Yeah, by the way, I was thinking, somebody was brought on the I don't know where it came from or why. Probably the beggars club, they brought down there, which is fine, just not
It's okay, because, you know, I was reflecting on all the years.
Right, right, that's part of it. City
Green
board.
Valley, the church, and
Yeah.
community,
Did they have a?
the guy painting comes out, the writers of
Uh-huh.
great stuff. And half the time, sometimes it comes a little bit later in the morning, when I stop to fill it, it talks.
Nice.
So,
Blaze all right, so.
Next time maybe when I was down there, I was supposed to be down there.
we've got some people that are and they come up twice, and said,
Good.
but there's so
fun being in that position. Definitely would.
I think we've got these little flyers for the raffle and dinner spaghetti.
Oh, yeah, the chamber, yes.
We've discovered these things in the last and so normally the board brings the meat and the tomato sauce. Pasta first got Richard, and I said, I got this funny feeling, we better maybe triple. These are flying off the shop. And we've got people here inviting. Yes. Also, what I've done, I did last year is, I went to the police text messages and said, remember this, I'm doing this. Oh, yeah. The order we got is, these are the relationships. And last year, two officers came by.
So I didn't read my order. I think he is Jeff State.
But we have lots of people to take one. So we have to be very irritated. I put the meal on the airport. So they took this with them. And somebody says, where did they go? I said, look at the window. Look at this. And there's a little ways away, and there's flashing lights over there. All right. Thank you very much.
So I have a question for you.
But I'll try.
So I called the sugar board because they
Oh, yeah?
have on their website, they have the one that is dated,
July.
yeah.
I knew that they got them off their website. I thought it was nuts. Because I
It's not,
learned,
it's which was it July?
wait, it was July 18th and they changed it again in September.
No, they have January.
Well, I filled out in July. I thought I called this website. I don't keep their forms anymore because they change them so much.
I'm serious, so I called them because this office needs to be for the church. So I called them and I go, so your website says July. I go, of 18. I go, and I just had something over there to take one and that says June of 18. I go, and you guys rejected it, saying it's not correct. I go, gave you one that says now August. What form of English is it on the website? You want to understand? That's January, June, and August. I go, do you need to, I have no idea. I go,
Well, I don't know what their latest date where you filled it out, but when I did that, I never saw that. Because I tried to be very careful, because on the back, we didn't have enough time, we really scratched that everything down there. Yeah, this one we got enough time, but
well, look,
why
I'm
would
ready
you
to
change your phone number?
allow her to put one up for church and start having those out. Because that's January, yours is August of 18. So it's like, what would it be? Yeah.
That's what.
So I'm like, really?
They're very easy.
Exactly. To play, he's running the cinemas play.
But I went down there and they showed me.
Really?
They're really fishing off.
Yeah, it's
We're
like,
getting to talk to the right person.
yeah, so that's what I'm worried about. Like,
It's gonna be interesting to see how the budget plays out.
So what happens from the church thing is until about September, you have to get right. Well, they have to. I think they would have to accept the form as a effect each time they approve one. Yeah.
which one is that?
Which one is it?
Which one is it? You just took June and they rejected it. So it's January, so it's like
Those aren't tax dollars.
right? So I have to call them for another thing, and I'm like, I told her, she's like, she has a question on another different portion, I'm like, I'll just talk to her and see. Maybe, I think, we went to a meeting not too long ago. I think I have a number for that, maybe something.
And that's what all these are, special. Let me look at my phone, I either have it.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, maybe for nothing.
How are you fast?
I was wondering, I thought Friday at
It's
7.
like,
Well, normally they do it this was special.
really kind of scrambling to get everybody.
Because they have contracts and stuff they're working on.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be.
So they started at 6:30.
What's going to be talked about?
I'm already here, I'm going to a meeting, there's a discussion about this stuff.
Sketches and do. That's probably like not having fancy desk and stuff.
How are you doing? I heard the wonderful news about your daughter.
Oh my God, I'll tell you, Sue, prayers work. Prayers work. It's just, in fact, this Friday, she goes to her oncologist and to see if she's going to dismiss her, go back to work, you know. I don't know if she's ready.
Amazing how fast it's going.
She's still, I don't know.
Until they
She's
shut
getting
down.
around with it,
Yeah.
but she doesn't have the stamina yet. Stamina, and she gets up like a job at 6:30 in the morning,
Slow change.
having those snowy roads up in Cleveland.
Stop worrying.
Oh, I know, I
We never.
I worried so much for months that I was just almost got myself crazy, you know. Oh, I had to fly there. I said, I have, so I spent got there 2 days before she had.
Half of those have got.
Oh, okay.
What is he?
And here, if you have little kids, say, I've got a card for you. These cards are put them right here. I'm happy.
It's so ridiculous that you have gone and they're doing what they completed.
It's actually what we're talking about.
Well, it's just a waste of time here getting all ready, and I don't know. Are they gonna come back or not?
Yes, they'll come back, yeah. They have an hour, they should be done by an hour, so they left at 6:40, so it's been, what, maybe 20 minutes?
Before, when I first got here, it was
Sometimes they get out earlier, sometimes not.
Well,
They take the whole hour.
will they be discussing these?
Yeah, that's what's on the agenda today, discussion. Move forward or not.
I don't know which is which on B and C here.
Really?
It says gift center and Jim Marshall Center, and I don't know which is which. They're referring to.
Okay, so A is about the park.
Yeah.
They're looking to build a park. And then C, they're looking to build a multi-generation unit, which would encompass like the senior centers, youth groups, probably like a gym, exercise. So
Is that going to be over here?
they're thinking possibly in this area.
So that would be wonderful, so close to town.
Yeah, it would be nice.
And what about the other one then?
Let's see, the other one is Center Gift.
No.
Sounds so much alike, I don't know what.
They're a little bit different.
You want to live like that in your house? Go ahead. This is my house. Floors in the shop.
Yeah, one more like for trying to attract employers to create more jobs in the area. Creative. You got it. Bring more people to town.
Tomorrow.
Because-
How long you did bring them? What? Yeah.
Oh, one of those things that Leslie's dog got in a fight with?
No,
No, not a
javelin.
javelin. Yeah, it could have been a small javelin, but a big javelin couldn't get through our fence. I'm thinking more it was bobcat or coyote.
Oh.
They were.
Oh,
Was it
That's not
My new sound's gonna be okay. You know what? It's been a while, huh?
Supposed to God is the next time. If I'm not, I'll talk to you, make sure that you get your attention from somebody.
Yes.
You had it. You had it.
Some comforting.
I told Todd once this is all done tonight, I'm gonna go get a couple shots.
Relax, it's done, it's over with.
So this I can just shred.
Yep.
Okay. After making two
Where's my
copies.
drop box?
Oh, don't be, I'm so easy.
I think I improved your
Am I gonna be
printing
the only
today.
one here?
I've had in the system.
Oh my God,
You need the cold position to allow people to wait. It's cold out there.
oh, it's supposed to get real cold.
Okay.
But tomorrow they say 70.
Oh, really? Well, that'll be nice. I
I
think we're ready for it within a week.
70, so we're not 65 up here.
Yeah.
The boards are being distinct here, we want
So that's better.
all four
Yeah.
ends.
Our winter's just about over.
I did ask them not to.
I've
Where's
been,
the ground balls?
I've been running my water a couple months.
And I just been
Have you
into, yeah,
too?
yes,
Me too.
old habits, huh?
Well, cheaper than new pipes.
That's for sure.
But not with the
In
dog.
fact, when I was real little, we lived about 4 blocks from the.
It's not about the money, it's about what we achieve.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
Yeah, they're quality windows.
sometimes causes
Yeah.
more problems.
I helped build a house here in town.
It would be up to you.
No windows in that
The
door.
boards do know,
Real one.
both rebuild and the chamber boards do know. It's going to help us tremendously.
Unfortunately, when I went to,
Last week after the, they said,
latch was supposed to go like this, and turn, we went.
So I called up the company,
By the way, are you sitting somewhere else in the call center? You sitting just off of downtown square?
Is that big?
She goes,
yeah,
yeah,
didn't come to
you
me.
know.
I saw that out there.
I enjoyed it. Maybe I ate your breakfast.
Yeah, he was looking
He's
at
walking up the building and goes in the morning. I said, "Hey, you're walking toward the Glockenspiel up there on the south." She goes, "Oh my gosh."
And
And
that
I walked that sidewalk and I said, yeah. I said, here's a,
Yeah, where they.
So-
stressing out, you
Yeah.
can't do anything with your plan.
on the right track,
So,
halfway in the town. This is that.
Help you also with those partnerships, the same reasons.
That lady was like, oh my gosh, I said, I used to live on Orange Highway by the golf course.
it's taken this long, but you know, maybe that might happen.
I don't know, too far from the golf course here.
You know?
For the work you and the putting the strategic plan together, right?
I just don't know where the golf course is.
I know
Which makes things a whole lot easier for us to try
The
to.
road goes out like that, goes a 5-side. And that's where it was. And it was a desert golf course. Just like they have the rattlesnake golf course over there.
Oh, yeah.
The coffee shop that you don't open until 11 o'clock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Matter of
perfect.
security.
Yeah.
And I said, well,
So.
I could put a couple of screws in
No worries, thank you.
Close.
And we'll do pictures, maybe at the next chamber meeting or something like that, we'll do pictures, okay?
This is in the afternoon when I'm talking to her. The next morning, about 10 or 11,
No worries, that's
I'm doing some yard work and
I'll see you.
FedEx rolled up.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds
thank
great.
you, guys.
And so you did. I said, yeah, he handed me a package. He says, there you go.
Is it worth waiting for here? Are they
Depends on what end of the tree.
Absolutely.
Are they trying to speak?
Oh my God.
Andrew,
Call that gal up.
Monty.
You got some entertainment to talk about there? Besides the Patriots?
It's okay. No, it's Phoenix, I think, last week's game, that was good.
Maybe not, I'm Pat Richards.
Pat and Heston, what was it, it's a resolution, Heston Quinn.
Yeah, they have a nice
Okay,
course out
I
there.
live, but in your property there, I live on high school out there, one of those little brick houses
It's-
there.
it's
You
like-
know
it's
where Pam Peck lives?
Hard, yeah, you almost have bigger crowds there than you have a football game.
Well, you do. I think it's
Been
one of
there
the,
for
like, the old
15
Olympics and stuff,
years.
was like, they set the record now for the most ones I've seen.
So I wanna know what's going on in this town.
You've seen all the, a lot of the
I'm not
chips.
sure they got this year, last year was 800,000.
Yes. Is Vicky Pesci still with them on the issue?
Oh, yeah, we've been to our
Yeah, so she
Renaissance Festival.
focuses.
No.
now,
The traffic?
I took a lot of-
I've driven through the Renaissance Festival many times and wish it wasn't actually
just
on.
focuses.
It's not even running late. You know, they have those school days.
The
Yeah.
EIS, so we're going through all the federal.
Well, the thing is always on the
She is
weekends.
smart, I got it.
But I have to talk with school-
when she first
school
came
days
here,
during the
had
week.
Yeah, there's a Tuesday and Thursday there, and all these school buses show up.
Yes,
Yeah.
because she,
I had one of
was up in,
these
I'm
twice a
from the
month,
northern
Thursday.
Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
And she was up
You're
there.
from the UP?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Now, do you know the
the UP, eh?
Yeah, hey, yeah.
Yeah, I
Speaking of traffic, it wasn't, I forgot about it.
I did mark that. I was working on the same project.
Oh, okay. Well, I never.
It's got me. Johnson, they come
It's
back
too
and
cold.
see.
Oh, yeah?
I was weird up there.
How much was it?
I spent 5 years almost going back and forth,
Wow.
almost every other week.
Okay, oh, we're gonna put Cooper back on the phone, is he on, your cell phone?
Sorry.
Sorry, we gotta call Cooper back.
Hello?
Hello.
Cooper, we're back. Can I have a motion to return to regular session? There's a motion on the floor by Councilmember Statico. Is there a second? Second by Vice Mayor Alonso. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to go on to agenda item A, which is discussion, possible approval of park improvement agreement between the Town of Superior and Arizona Municipal Corporation and Resolution Copper Mining LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, RCML, in the amount of $200,000 and no cents. Staff recommends approving this item. This will be used to install a playground structure and other amenities at the US 60 Park and is part of the mitigations agreed to for the smelter demolition. Council, do we have a motion to approve? Or any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve item A.
There's a motion on the floor by Councilmember Statico with a second by Councilmember Armitage. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to move on to agenda item B. Discussion, possible approval of entrepreneurship and innovation center gift agreement between Town of Superior and Arizona Municipal Corporation and Resolution Copper Mining LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, RCML, in the amount of $1,290,000 and no cents. Recommendation, staff recommends approving this item and the discussion items. RCML is the operator of the Resolution Mine, mine ID number 0200152, Pinal County, Arizona, and has operational locations within, adjacent to, and a short distance away from the town. The town and RCML agree that the creation of an economically diversified community will improve the overall quality of life for town residents, employers, and their employees. Economic diversity will increase the competitiveness of the town and its ability to retain and attract quality employers, businesses, and venues that will further diversify the economic base through expanded employment opportunities for present and future residents. The town and RCML also agree that it is the mutual interest to grow and expand an expanded economic base in order to reduce the town's reliance on the mining industry and develop a resilient local economy which may withstand economic fluctuations. To further economic diversity, RCML has agreed to fund the establishment of an Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center, EIC. There is no significant impact. Do we have, council, any further questions, comments, or discussion from the town manager on this?
Mayor, I would invite Councilman Lopez to state the conflict and recuse yourself.
I do have a conflict of interest, so therefore I would be excusing myself.
No, you just got sick.
No, you should step down.
That's good.
All right, we'll let Mrs. Lopez move for a second. For 2 items. Council, is there any other further questions or comments? You did.
Mayor, I would like to point out the Innovation Center is a $1.29 million contract. It does have a performance requirement of the town for $400,000. So we will be seeking additional grant funding to make up that difference. We have 2 years to generate that revenue, but there is a performance clause for the town in that contract.
Just a question. The development of the EIC, where did it, how did we come about that? For the public anyways.
That was requested a resolution as a economic development component of our larger picture negotiations, and it was also part of the overall discussion and negotiations, trying to deliver economic development and diversification to the town.
Thank you.
Council, any further questions or comments? Mr. Lai, would you like to say anything before I call for a motion to vote? Or would you like to wait until after? Okay. All right, council, do we have a motion to approve the EIC agreement?
So moved.
There's a motion by Councilmember Armitage. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Councilmember Navarrete. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries, and let the record know that Councilmember Lopez did recuse herself.
Should we be saying by individual eye
Do you need us to do individual ayes on this one?
on any of these?
If it's unanimous, you do not need to do that. You only need to do it if there's a name.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on to agenda item C. This is a very big night for all of us. Discussion, possible approval of multi-generational center development gift agreement between the town of Superior and Arizona Municipal Corporation and Resolution Copper Mining LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, in the amount of $2 million and no cents. Staff recommends approving this item. RCML is the operator of the Resolution Mine ID number 0200152, Pinal County, Arizona, and has operational locations within, adjacent to, and a short distance away from the town. The town and RCML agree that the availability of community services contributes to the quality of life for the residents of the town of Superior, and that it is in the mutual interest of both the town and RCML to optimize and improve existing community services and amenities within the town. The town has initiated preliminary studies for the feasibility and construction of a multi-generational center within the town. The parties agree that a multi-generational center will, 1, improve the overall quality of life for Superior residents, local employers, and their employees. 2, expand the quality of life amenities and services that are essential to retaining and attracting residents and employers. 3, allow for consolidation of town services and decrease the overall town administrative burden. And 4, further develop public, private, civil, and educational sectors of the community toward common goals and in support of shared values and interests. The town has estimated the cost of further studies, design, and construction of the multi-generational center, collectively the project, to be approximately $4 million. RCML has agreed to pledge $2 million to the town to be used for final studies, design, and construction of the multi-generational center. Fiscal impact: the town will have to look into grant sources to come up with the remaining $2 million needed to complete the project. This is a big day for all of us because we've been working for 8 months to negotiate all of these agreements. So, council, do you have any questions or comments for staff at this time?
Make a motion to approve.
There's a motion on the floor by Councilmember Statico. Is there a second? Second by Vice Mayor Alonso. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, and please let the record note that Councilmember Lopez is still abstained from being on the dais. I just want to thank staff, both the staff at our town hall and Resolution. This has been a very long road to get here and come up with a solution to move us forward in getting this community ready to be home of a world-class mine. Mr. Lai would like to say a few words. Please, I will oblige you a few moments at the podium.
Thank you. It's a big day for the town, it's a big day for Resolution, but I think what I want to recognise is the efforts of the town. It's been a long 8-month period as we're going through this process, as you said, Mayor, but the work the town has done to come with a strategic vision has made it a lot easier for us to understand how we can contribute to that vision. After we went through the internal review process, I understand the process you went through, and congratulations on the legal advice up front. I get plenty of that myself. But after we went through and presented with our plans to how we advance together with the town of Superior, as part of Resolution Copper, I went with Arno, who's our Chief Executive Officer who leads our copper and diamonds business. We're in DC meeting with all the elected officials there, and Arno was talking about this partnership and the way we want to develop Superior going forward. And I apologise if this comes across the wrong way, but the way he summed it up is his first trip into Superior, he couldn't believe there'd been 100 years of mining activity because the remnants had all been lost. What we're about here is actually making sure the benefits of today is sustainable through things such as education for the youth. It's not part of the agenda tonight, it's a separate agreement with the school district. It's about the economic development, making sure that Superior as a platform to succeed well after Resolution Copper is closed. We're really proud to be a part of it and working together with you now to find the partners to take these agreements forward and really advance the chamber, rebuild Superior, the incubator centre. It's got another acronym, EIC. I can't believe we do that for everything we do. And then the multi-generational centre, when we see that redeveloped here, I think it's going to be a real change for the town of Superior. I'm really privileged to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Council, any comments? All right. Technically, it's a special meeting, so we shouldn't have had a call to the public, but since it's on our agenda, does anyone have a comment from the public? Okay, hearing none. At this time, the next regular meeting is our regularly scheduled meeting on Thursday, which the Vice Mayor will be running, and we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
There's a motion on the floor by Councilmember Armitage. There's a second? Second by Vice Mayor Alonso. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. And what time is it? The meeting adjourns at 7:20.
Cats and dogs living together.
That was cut right.
Our meetings are all business.